Today we're in Kathmandu, Nepal, and this is a city we are so excited to be filming in because there is so much interesting traditional food here.
Nepal has over 100 different ethnicities, which means that the food culture is wildly fascinating. We can't wait to share what we've discovered with you.
Assalamualaikum, mero naam Rabia. Welcome to Malaysian Creations Nepal. Today I'm going to react on the Nepali street food feast in Kathmandu, Nepal. It's best momos in Kathmandu, traditional Nuwari food. And the channel is Chasing a Plate. Thomas and Sheena. Alright, let's watch it.
Today we're in Kathmandu, Nepal, and this is a city we are so excited to be filming in because there is so much interesting traditional food here.
Nepal has over 100 different ethnicities, which means that the food culture is wildly fascinating. We can't wait to share what we've discovered with you. We're taking you into the heart of Kathmandu's food culture, sharing the Nepali food that locals love to eat at the best street stalls and restaurants in the city. This is our first video from Kathmandu. Join us at the morning bazaar for a traditional Nepali breakfast of deep fried snacks and milky sweet tea, before we share Nepal's iconic buffalo momos from a neighbourhood favourite. We delve into the cuisine of the Newari people, the indigenous inhabitants of the Kathmandu Valley, and eat at a secret local joint before taking you into a 135-year-old bakery for traditional Newari bread. In this Kathmandu series, we'll show you some of Nepal's best food, from rare traditional dishes to delicious Nepali favourites. You don't want to miss this series. Get ready for some mouth-watering food.
I'm Thomas.
And I'm Sheena, and we're chasing a plate.
We hope you're hungry. Let's eat.
We are beyond thrilled to be in Kathmandu filming. We've been eating our way around the city, or around the Kathmandu Valley, for the past week, and what we've discovered is so interesting. There's layer upon layer of food culture here. We can't wait to share all the food that we've discovered with you. Today this video is going to be set in markets. We're going to be eating street food. We're going to be eating at little mom and pop style restaurants. We've gotten up really early to hit up the bazaar so that we can eat a proper Nepali breakfast. I can see the stall right over there. We're going to be eating some deep fried snacks and also wash it down with some tea. Namaste. Tavalai kasto cha? Good. Is my Nepali okay? We heard your Celerotti, and is this Celerotti? And Celerotti and Guaramari. Oh, yes, perfect. Wonderful. Dhanyavad. So we're crouching right by the stall here, and they sell two really traditional breakfast items. The first is the guaramari, which is a Newari guaramari.
This one is seal.
And this is the Celerotti. So the ladies are so friendly. They're explaining what they're selling. This is the guaramari, which is a Newar breakfast item. The Newar people are the Nepal people, the indigenous inhabitants of the Kathmandu Valley. And then this other one is a Celerotti, which is a rice flour bread ring. It's so light and crispy in my hands. So they've got this sticky guaramari dough. It's just a wheat flour dough, and then the oil has just been slowly heating up. He's grabbing little handfuls of dough and then popping them almost on top of the oil because the oil's not hot enough to bubble away yet. Now it's really going. He's using his utensil to just push the guaramari around and submerge it into the oil, and they're slowly becoming really golden and brown. It's so so perfect because right by the Guatemala and Celerotti stall is a chia stall, so a lady selling hot, sweet, milky tea, so that'll be perfect for washing these down with. But here we're right in the heart of the market, so the morning market. It closes down around 9 a.m, so you got to get here early, and it's great because you've got all sorts of produce. This guy's selling a curd, so thick yogurt. This lady has got she's got some beautiful oyster mushrooms and some herbs and vegetables. It's surrounding this whole square. But first, the tea. We're sitting in front of this lady and she's brewing up our tea. So the tea and the milk and the sugar and the spices, if there are any, are all brewed together in a pot. And so she is really getting that flame going, and the tea is bubbling right up. It's frothy, it's bubbly, and to make it even frothier, she's pulling it. So she's dipping her cup into that saucepan and ladling tea up and out and pouring it back in, and so it becomes really frothy, and you can smell it in the air. It smells absolutely intoxicating. Stanyavad. She's essentially brewing each cup to order. So in the pot goes tea leaves and milk, sugar if you want it, and it is just bubbling away. And then she poured it into this glass cup and then sprinkled, I think, a bit of coffee powder on the top. This is the perfect way to enjoy tea. Really sweet, milky and strong. That is sensational. It is so good. Very sweet, very creamy. I don't think it has any spice in it, so it's just a really sweet, strong, milky tea, and that is coffee powder on the top. So I've got my chia, my tea, and my little packet of deep fried snacks. Perfect for dipping, I reckon.
Time to get into the Celerotti and the Guatemala. So with this piping hot tea, these fried snacks are going to be perfect. I want to break up the Celerotti first. So look at this ring of goodness. You can see there's quite a lot of texture in there too, in that skin. Oh, it's so fluffy inside. It just breaks apart so easily, that Celerotti. Oh, wow. Man, that is light. Incredibly light inside, but because it's rice flour, it's got a little bit of stickiness. So on the chew, it's got a little bit of stick. And then it's got little crispy bits that are all in the skin, little sort of popped crispy bits of rice in the skin. I reckon that's going to be really good to dip into the tea though. Let's grab that cup of tea. Oh, she's piping hot. And I'm going to give it a bit of a dunk, that Celerotti. Get it covered in the tea. Whoa. That tea is too hot to hold. Wow. Oh, it's so good soaked in the tea. And look at this spot. It's unreal sitting here. Tea's being made as we go. I've got a bunch of coriander right behind me. All this fresh veg. It is all action here in the square. It's such a neat environment to start your morning with. And now time for guacamole. So these ones are made of wheat flour. So you've got the rice flour, Celerotti, and these are wheat flour. So they should be quite different. Oh, so good. So fried dough, basically. It's very plain, very simple. It's just a beautiful ball of fried dough. So this is the traditional Nuwari breakfast, this dish. And it's as simple as it gets, and it's such a common thing around the world. Fried dough, you know. So many cultures have a style of breakfast item or just food item like this, and these are great. Crunchy on the outside, bouncy texture on the inside because of that wheat flour. Incredibly different to the Celerotti, so it's nice having the two different things to go with this amazing cup of tea. Oh, that milky, strong tea in amongst all of this. I mean, what a place to start your day. Unreal. We're loving exploring Kathmandu on foot because there's a lot of hustle and bustle here, a lot of colour, lots of people obviously. It's a very neat city to get around on foot. Whoa, there's a lot of chaos sometimes. But something else we really like about exploring on foot is it's often very easy to get off these main roads that are pretty hectic into much smaller sort of laneways like this one, much quieter. And our next stop actually is just up this street, so we're going to wind into these little laneways to our next street food.
Our next food is one that's probably the most popular in Kathmandu, and that is momos. Momos are a type of dumpling, and we've been eating our weight in momos so that we can show you the best in the city. Just over here is the restaurant that we love, and it is our favourite style of restaurant to eat momos. Really no frills, very casual. You eat and then you run. Let's go and grab some. Namaste! This little local spot has a great atmosphere. It faces the front of the... Oh, Dhanyabad! You already know our order. We come here so often that the guys already know what we're going to order. So we've got our buffalo momos in front of us. They're steaming away. But this little spot is really casual, no frills, but they do amazing food and it's always fresh. You can see actually right here the big steamers full of momos. So those are the buffalo momos. Buffalo is by far the most popular meat here in Kathmandu. So you get a plate of 10 buffalo momos and then something very special on the table as well to add to them. We're super lucky because we've been allowed a peek into the kitchen. These guys are busy at work making the dumplings. So they've got all of the buffalo mince in the trays there. They've got their dumpling wrappers all ready to go. So the whole momo making process happens in these tiny quarters. So they've got the big mixer up the back here. Then this here is the wrapping maker. So the strips of dough here are fed into this machine, and then the little momo wrappers come spitting out. And then the guys start making the momos. And what I really love about the momos here are you can see the meat. So this is the buffalo meat. The meat is very densely packed, and you can see by the color it is very lean. So the meat is not fatty, it's full of flavor. They're very intense. So 10 momos per plate is the perfect amount because they're very robust in flavor, very rich. So tons of spices in that meat, and I just love watching them make them. They're all so uniform and perfect, getting pressed onto this pan, ready to go into the steamer. We've got our steaming plate of buffalo momos in front of us, but there's also one very special ingredient for these jol momos, so soup style momos, and that is the jol acha. So on every table you get a big jug of this jol acha. It's a soup slash sauce, I suppose, made up of a ton of different ingredients. I'll talk you through it later, but what we're going to do first is just pour this jol acha all over those momos, and you can just go crazy with the jol acha because it's essentially a soup. So you know, you're slurping as well as covering all of those momos up with the sauce. The jol acha goes on room temperature, but it very quickly becomes very warm because of the heat from the momos. Let's just get a taste of this. Oh, that is sensational. So it's got a ton of sesame, tomato, spices, chili, coriander and whatnot. And it's got such a strong flavour. Oh, so good. I want to make sure that it's well and truly covered this momo before I take a big bite. All right, one bite. Holy moly, so good. The dumpling is delicious. So it's a wheat flour outer, and then inside it's minced buffalo meat, combined with a ton of spices. So chili, fenugreek, ginger, garlic, coriander, all sorts. And so it's got a lot of flavor. I love when you bite the momo in half, and then you reveal the inside of the momo. So you've got all of that meat, and then you go and put the jol acha inside, so that meat is coated with that sesame sauce. And I really love the history of momos. They're originally a Tibetan food, so when the traders, the Nuwari traders from Kathmandu went to Tibet, they discovered momos, which then had yak meat in them. They brought the recipe back, added their own Nepali touch, so spices that were local to the region and whatnot, and then later on chili, and then the tomato-based sauce, and it became what it is today, so momos. And it's such a popular food here. Everyone loves it. You find them on every street corner. So satisfying to eat.
We've headed to another area. This is called Patan, and this is very well known for its Nuwari food, which is the food we spoke about this morning. This is some very traditional food in this area. And look at this part of town. It's so beautiful with lots of traffic, but lots of little temples and things like this, little shrines all around. It's so neat, really pokey up some of these laneways. I think where we're heading is just tucked up this laneway somewhere.
Our next spot is a really popular locals favourite. It's a third generation family restaurant and it specialises in Nuwari cuisine. It's just at the end of this laneway, I believe. But check out the surroundings. So this here is Patan Dhaba Square. It's the main square in Patan, and there are loads of Buddhist and Hindu monuments and temples. But I think this here is the restaurant that we're after. It is tucked away in the corner, very pokey and small. It looks like our kind of place. Let's head in. Namaste. Namaste. Whoa, it smells so good. This is such an awesome little restaurant. Mixed, please. That's perfect. It's just an awesome little restaurant. So third generation, and this is what we're after. This is the wo, which is a lentil pancake. We ordered a mixed one. I can also see egg on there as well, and she's sort of sitting on her little stool, the frying pan or the frying surface right in front of her.
Our wo has arrived, and it's a very simple, basic looking dish. We got the mixed one, so the mixed one means it's got some buff, so some buffalo mince on there, so you can just see the brown, and an egg, so she cracked an egg on top of it. And man, look at this restaurant. So it's like a cave, very dark walls. I've got the sunlight coming right in and hitting me in the face, so that's probably why you can see me, but it's very dark in here, the very low ceiling, and so you've got all these smells of the cooking just hanging in the air, smoke hanging in the air, the walls are all blackened from the cooking. It is an incredible environment, and I really like how basic this wo looks. So just very, very simple. So a lentil pancake essentially, so you can see very thin. It was actually a very thick batter. I'll break into it. Let's get some of that buff and that egg. It was a very thick batter that she was popping on there, and then patting it down with her wet hands just to give it the thin shape it has. But it's very thick batter that gets dropped onto that cooking surface there, and then the buff and the egg on top. Oh wow. Oh, that is full of flavour. It's got a lot of spices in it. It tastes a lot more extreme than it looks. It looks so simple. I thought it was just going to be sort of a very plain pancake with the egg on it to give it a bit of texture, but the pancake itself, very moist. Oh, and it's full of spice. This bit here looks very good with a whole lot of yolk on it. It's so enjoyable. It's that spiciness, so these layers of spice, and their flavors I've never really tasted. It's super interesting. I think what they're using is a lot of local herbs, so herbs you'll only find in the mountains here in Nepal, and it's got an amazing depth, so it's got a bitterness, and it's very rounded, so they just, in your mouth, they come together so beautifully. And this environment, I mean, look, I'll stand up. I'm 6 foot tall and I just hit the roof, so it's very small in here. It's such a neat little entranceway, and man, watching that cooking, it's super special. Really neat environment. Wow, what an environment. So heading out now, and it's like leaving a cave. Sheena just fell out the door. It's pretty steep stairs there, so it's like a little cave, really hidden amongst all this grandeur of the square, and that tiny little door opens up into that dark little cave restaurant. That was a really special experience. Food was special and the environment was really special. Next thing.
We've been meandering down Patan's laneways and alleyways. It's very peaceful in this city. So we're in the Kathmandu Valley. The Kathmandu Valley is made up of 3 cities. So Kathmandu City, Patan and Bhaktapur. We'll be filming in all 3 cities. They're all very close together. But we're heading to our next spot now, and it's a bakery. There are lots of heritage eateries in Patan. This one is a 4th generation bakery that specialises in Nuwari sweets, and I can already smell the sweets and the baked goods in the air. Namaste! Talapai kastata. You good? Very good. Hi. Oh my gosh, is that the lakmari?
Yes, lakmari.
Oh my goodness. So we have just scooted into this little bakery, and the smells are so insane. And check this out. Is it okay if we film? Dhanyavad. This is what we've come here to eat. This is the lakmari. So it's a special Nuwari ceremonial bread. And look at it in that oil. It's massive. It smells so good. Wow, it's like this big and so beautiful. Oh, that's the perfect size. So I just asked the gentleman if he had a smaller lakmari, because I don't think those gigantic ones are quite right, because we'd never be able to finish them. But he's just said this should be perfect for you, and this one is glazed, so it's sort of got an icing all around it, and look how beautiful it is. It's quite weighty. I think they sell it by weight, so we'll just pop it on the scale. Dhanyavad. The team are being really kind and letting us into their bakery and just explaining to us the significance of all the different Nuwari pastries. So, whoa! Wow, they're huge. So these are special pastries for Nuwari weddings. So you can see there's a bird actually, and then these big discs. What's this one called? What's the name of that one? Bot.
All lakmari.
All lakmari. Oh, okay. So all of these come under the name of lakmari, like the one that we bought, but they just have different meanings and different names. That's the frog. And there's a frog pastry there. Wow. So this gentleman's just telling me 135-year-old bakery. Insane. Insane history. And all of these wonderful Nuwari traditional breads. And again, this is really typical of the shops and the restaurants here in Nepal and Kathmandu. Very low rise, so like I'm 5 foot and I'm almost touching the ceiling. That never happens for me, so it's pretty cool. Very pokey, very small. What a place. Look at these little doorways too. Oh, it's fantastic. Dhanyavad. Thank you so much. I've got a handful of sweets. So that bakery, absolutely phenomenal. 135 years it's been around, 4th generation, and they're a Nuwari bakery. So they specialise in Nuwari sweets. As we talked about before, the Nuwa people are the indigenous inhabitants of the Kathmandu Valley. So I've got 2 sweets. I've got this lakmari, so that's absolutely drop dead gorgeous. Look how beautiful it is. And that's just a black lentil flour, rice flour, wheat flour, butter, sugar mix that's piped into the oil, and then it's been glazed with an icing sugar glaze. And then the staff were kind enough to give us a taste of their barfi, and this is a milk-based treat. They're also very famous for that as well. But I want to get into this lakamari. So this thing is quite hefty. It's pretty heavy and it feels really solid. I might just bite in, I reckon. Wow. So I was saying it's a Nuwari sweetbread. In texture, it's like a biscuit. It's very crunchy. It's oily in the sense that it was obviously sitting in that oil for a really long time, so it soaked up a bit of that oil, and it's quite flaky, very sweet. Very sweet. So when you bite into it, that icing sugar glaze just sort of collapses in your mouth, and then you got that crunch from the biscuit. It's got a beautiful flavor. That's really interesting, very tasty. But I don't know if we're going to be able to get through the whole thing. It's quite sweet. All right, time to get into this barfi. I use my lakamari as a little plate. Look at that. So the texture is very soft. So it's a milk-based sweet. It's got some grated coconut over the top, and it's got a ton of sugar in it, I believe. Oh. It's very creamy, very sweet, and just has a beautiful milk flavor. I'm loving the texture of it. It's very soft. Look at that. It actually is the perfect sweetness. It's very soft, creamy, beautiful dairy flavor. That is so good.
Wow, all right. Okay, this is my first time do ration on the Nepali street food. It's a lot of foods that I would love to try. The dessert from the bakery, 135 years old. Wow, okay, it's amazing. Yeah, phenomenal. All right, then there is the egg on the top. I think they use rice flour at the bottom for the base, and then egg on the top, and they put a little bit of beef layer. So yeah, it looks amazing, and it looks delicious, yummy. All right, I would love to try. Okay, and then the tea, is super yummy. It looks like, you know, it's very cool when you buy the fresh tea on the street. Wow, wow. The environment, the morning, you know, morning experience. Wow, it's a good start. All right, guys, thank you so much for your suggestion. I really hope that you guys enjoy this video as I do. If you like this video, please share it with your family members and friends. Don't forget to share it on your social media as well. Please subscribe our channel Malaysian Girl Reactions Nepal and join our Telegram channel Malaysian Girl Reactions so you won't miss our latest video. Do follow our social media. We have Facebook for Malaysian Girl Reactions Nepal. Do follow us, alright? Thank you so much. Till next time. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.